The Valorian Empire had conquered 47 star systems in less than a century. Their military might was unquestioned, their technology superior to most civilizations in the known galaxy. So, when the Confederation of Free Worlds sent an emergency diplomatic envoy to warn them about humanity, Commander Zethral dismissed it with a wave of his segmented appendage. "You fear a species that hasn't even mastered interstellar travel?" Zethral's translator rendered his amusement perfectly. "They're confined to a single system." The elderly Zathari ambassador, her scales dulled with age, leaned forward with urgency. "Commander, please. We've studied them for decades. Humans are different. They don't surrender. They don't know when they're beaten. They adapt faster than any species we've ever encountered." Zethral's eyes narrowed. "Then they will learn fear when they meet the Empire." 3 months later, the Valorian Third Fleet arrived at the edge of humanity's solar system. Leo Martinez stood on the bridge of the ESS Defiance, humanity's newest and only warship capable of engaging the incoming threat. At 28, he was the youngest tactical officer in Earth's hastily assembled Space Defense Force. 52 enemy vessels detected, announced Leia Chen from the sensor station, her fingers dancing across holographic displays. Mass and energy signatures suggest Dreadnought-class ships. "We're outnumbered 52 to 1. Captain Morrison, a grizzled veteran who'd transferred from the Navy, studied the tactical display with grim determination. "Well, they brought a fleet to fight one ship. I suppose that's flattering." Leo caught Leia's eye across the bridge. They'd graduated together from the Accelerated Officer program, fast-tracked when the Valorian threat became apparent. She gave him a slight nod. They both knew the odds, and they both knew it didn't matter. The Valorian fleet commander broadcast on all frequencies. "Primitive humans, your surrender is inevitable. Resistance will result in the sterilization of your homeworld. You have one standard cycle to comply." Captain Morrison's response was immediate. "This is the ESS Defiance. We don't recognize your authority and we don't accept your terms. If you want Earth, come and take it." The silence that followed lasted exactly 3 seconds before the Valorian fleet opened fire. Evasive pattern Delta 7. Morrison barked. "Leo, give me firing solutions." "Leia, I need to know what makes those ships tick." The Defiance rolled and dove, Earth's gravity while giving them maneuverability advantages the Valorians hadn't anticipated. Leo's console lit up with targeting data. "Sir, their shields are polarized. They're strong against energy weapons, but kinetic weapons might punch through," Leia finished, her scanners having reached the same conclusion. "Captain, their shield technology is 2 centuries ahead of ours, but it's specialized. They haven't fought anyone using projectile weapons in generations." Morrison smiled grimly. "Then let's remind them why humans haven't abandoned bullets." He opened the ship-wide channel. "All railgun batteries free fire. Missile tubes load tungsten penetrators." What happened next would be studied in military academies across the galaxy for centuries. The Defiance didn't fight like any warship the Valorians had encountered. It used Earth's moon as cover, employed atmospheric skipping to bleed off velocity in ways that should have torn the ship apart, and fired weapons that the Valorians' sophisticated shields were never designed to stop. Leo coordinated the weapon systems with brutal efficiency. Every shot counted. They couldn't afford to waste ammunition. "Target their sensor arrays first," he suggested. "Blind them." Leia's scans revealed a weakness in their formation. "Captain, they're maintaining parade formation." "They're not expecting actual resistance. If we hit their flagship, the others might hesitate." "Do it," Morrison ordered. The Defiance emerged from behind Earth's moon at full burn, railguns screaming. Tungsten slugs, accelerated to a fraction of light speed, tore through the Valorian flagship's shields like paper. The mighty dreadnought, designed to bombard planets into submission, shuddered under impacts it was never built to withstand. Commander Zethral watched in disbelief as his sensor displays lit up with damage reports. "How? Their technology is inferior. Their ship is primitive." His tactical officer's voice trembled. "Sir, they're not fighting like any civilization we've encountered. They're using their ship like a weapon itself. They're taking hits that should destroy them, and they're still—" An explosion rocked the flagship as another salvo found their engine core. Zethral made a decision that would haunt him. "All ships, full assault. Destroy that vessel at any cost." The Valorian fleet broke formation, 51 warships converging on a single human ship. On the Defiance's bridge, alarms screamed as hull breaches multiplied. "We can't take much more of this," Leia reported, her voice steady despite the chaos. "Hull integrity at 40%. Leo pulled up a calculation that had been running in the background. "Captain, I have an idea." "It's insane, but I'm listening, Lieutenant." "The Valorian shields regenerate using their main power grid. If we could trigger a cascade feedback, we might take out multiple ships with one strike." Leo highlighted a cluster of enemy vessels, "But we'd need to detonate our reactor core at point-blank range." Morrison understood immediately. The escape pods could reach Earth's atmosphere. Most of the crew would survive, but someone needed to pilot the ship into the enemy formation. "Prep the crew for evacuation," Morrison ordered quietly, then louder. "Leo, Leia, you're both coming with me to the escape deck." "Sir." They both began. "That's an order." 20 minutes later, escape pods streaked toward Earth like falling stars. On the Defiance's bridge, now eerily quiet, Morrison sat alone at the helm. He'd locked the bridge controls. No dramatic last-minute returns for anyone. He aimed his ship at the heart of the Valorian fleet and pushed the engines to maximum. Zethral saw the Defiance coming but couldn't comprehend what he was seeing. "They're going to ram us?" "That's suicide." The tactical officer's voice was barely a whisper. "Sir, their reactor is going critical. They're turning their ship into a bomb." The explosion was visible from Earth's surface, a new star briefly igniting in the night sky. When the light faded, 23 Valorian ships had been vaporized. Another 15 were too damaged to continue combat. The remaining 13 retreated at maximum speed. Leo and Leia watched from their escape pod as Earth's defense satellites and ground-based weapons took advantage of the chaos, finishing off 2 more crippled enemy ships. The rest jumped to faster-than-light, fleeing human space. The Zathari ambassador's message reached the Valorian Empire 3 days later. It was brief. "We tried to warn you." Commander Zethral, recovering in a medical bay on a surviving ship, filed his report. His conclusion would change the Empire's policy toward humanity forever. "Recommend immediate withdrawal from human space. They are not advanced. They are not sophisticated. But they will kill you and themselves if necessary, before they surrender. We cannot win against a species with nothing to lose and everything to fight for." Humanity had won their first interstellar war. They hadn't won because they were stronger or more advanced. They won because when faced with extinction, humans had looked at impossible odds and said, "Not today." Leo and Leia would go on to command Earth's growing fleet, their names becoming legend. But they never forgot Captain Morrison, or the lesson that humanity taught the galaxy that day. Never underestimate the species that learned to survive on a world that spent 4 billion years trying to kill them. Humans don't fight fair. Humans fight to win.